Welcome to AHA, A Human Among Humans.
Okay.
We've been talking about being comfortable with the fact that we're uncomfortable and about vulnerabilities and sharing them, which at my advanced age I am learning. It is so touching. If I don't make it a game. So we were planning on talking about Abraham and Sarah, but we started talking about being vulnerable, which if we were wise enough I could make a segue into that, but I'm not going to try. So what would you like to know about Abraham, or about at least, what would you like to know about Abraham and Sarah?
Oh, okay. Well, first I just wanted to bring up that I think it's interesting that you're working with the scripture after reading, and I wish I could remember his name, but it was a man who was talking about how the different ways that people engage in spirituality, and that some through meditation, some through service, and also talking about how some people work with scripture. And it gave me more, I often wasn't drawn to scripture, but it helped.
We can love you anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
nobody's perfect.
It can help me have respect for doing that. And I also thought I had heard that in a Jewish tradition that wrestling with the Bible, like wrestling with God, but also wrestling with the stories to make it your own, to really work with it and make meaning out of it. And so with you working on this story, really working with it intensely, I have a lot of respect for that work. And also at your age, that and Maslow's hierarchy to make meaning, it seems like a neat last book that you might write more books at some point, but this is your goal, to write these 3 books, and this is the 3rd one. I have respect for the fact that you want to write this. It's not my path, but I still have a lot of respect that this is what you're drawn to, and this is what you're working with.
I'm going to have to bribe you to read it and tell me. I can bribe you with all kinds of things. And tell me just the parts that you don't understand. We'll see what deal we can make.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm lending you my car. Aha. Maybe.
One day.
Yes, one day. So maybe I can get how many. Oh, this is on TV. How many
I will
minutes?
try. I will try.
The whole thing? Well, no, that's not fair.
Well, I'll try. Yeah.
Wow. And thank you. That would be so, because I'm about to send it out.
Yeah, if you give me a printed copy,
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
that would make it easier.
Yeah.
I could write on it.
Yes, I will. We'd be happy to tomorrow.
Okay.
When I get my car back tomorrow.
Okay.
Wow.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you for, it's helpful to me because I've been so into it. So I'm making meaning out of, it's really out of my life. I had...
And you're working with the scripture.
Yes,
of
with
making meaning out
it's
of
only
it.
it's
Yeah.
only less than 30 pages. I've been working on it for probably 40 years on and off,
Okay.
trying to understand. When I was younger, it was nice. I just heard one voice in my head, as far as I knew. It's probably not true, but I at least thought that. So if I was scared, sitting next to Gracia Faye Bauman, after we went for a walk, I'd hear, hold her hand, and say, hey, God just told me to. No, I said my inner voice just told me to hold your hand. And she was a Bible student. And she said, oh, that could be the voice of God. Wow. And so I held her hand. And she liked me. I was too scared and wanted to marry me. Hi, Gracia Faye Bauman, wherever you are. I still remember her name.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So once I started thinking that this internal voice, most of us have one. You have one for sure, yes, at least one? Talk to you?
I don't hear it, so I'm not an audible, I'm a image sort of person.
Oh, you're
I'm
so
not
with it.
so audible
Oh, that's so much more
and not so
healthy.
verbal.
So much more healthy. So you have inner motion pictures or inner snapshots?
Yeah, well, and feelings. I guess I do a lot of thinking. That's what I do. It drives me nuts, actually.
But not a voice telling you.
But not a
Shelley.
voice. No, what I do is I do something that drives me absolutely nuts. I do this constant hypervigilance of imagining what the other person is thinking and then how I'm being impacted them. And then I replay it back and forth for the feeling, to try to get the feeling of how that person might be, even though I have no idea if this person is feeling that way.
Yeah.
I'm constantly doing this, like, feel it out, feel it out, feel it out, but it's a thinking thing, yeah. So
Ouch,
that's what I do. But you, it sounds like you
do the opposite in some way.
have some voices.
In my happier days, I thought it was just one, but now it's. Oh. But the advantage is, I didn't care at all. If God was telling me to hold your hand, tough noogies, whether you like it or not. Oh, I could get in trouble that way.
Yeah.
No, I would live my life and I would be oblivious to what other people were feeling and thinking because I had God on my side, which made being close to me very challenging because I wasn't even aware that my actions had impact on other people. Who would have guessed? I was just doing what I was a good boy, what I heard. So that attracted me to Abraham, who hears the voice. Go to the land I will show you. I will bless you. Yum. I will make your name great. I wasn't too into that, although some part of me was, yes. And anybody who curses you, if there's anyone who curses you, it's a singular, I will curse them. Boy, did that feel, I didn't get too much into that. But all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Here I am, world, I am a blessing. Because the voice said, be a blessing. And
To Abraham.
To Abraham.
In this biblical story.
And so I'm identifying not too well, it just feels nice. And then when I start studying it finally, I start asking, what does it mean to be a blessing? And I have discovered that one, it's helpful to feel empty and nothing, spacious. I was so afraid of being nothing. Because I would feel that and fight it. I have to hide her. I'm somebody. Who are you?
Yeah, a lot of us, I think.
Rather than Emily Dickinson, brilliant woman poet, I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? And there's the pair of us. Don't tell. Don't be jealous. So I would even read those words and not really get it. And now, which I think Buddhism says this, if I can be nobody and empty and spacious, all kinds of rich energy can flow through. I don't know if you feel that when you meditate. Just unbelievable. I mean, yes, it's just, you don't feel that.
I mean, I do like to meditate and try not to let like my thoughts get in the way and to try to be present. So it's special. So I don't know if, but I get the idea of if you're always trying to be something but you're feeling nothing.
Yes, it's very exhausting. Another way to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be nothing, if I dare. I mean, the Bible begins, you know the very beginning probably. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Which is nice. And the next line is, in Hebrew, it's tohu vavohu. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And some scholars think that is the first line of the Bible. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, they think is the title. And in the very beginning, it's without form and void. So not only is there nothing, it's just a vacuum. And that is comforting, actually, to be there. And to fight it is exhausting. One writer, he was a longshoreman, not a scholar, so you can trust him carrying those heavy boxes often to the shore from the ship. And he wrote, most of us are afraid of nothing inside. And he said it's so hard to hide from what isn't there. I can hide from a feeling, but to hide from nothing is very tricky. Very tricky, because it can seep through anything. So
there's a mantra, Satanama, and it's something like, I think it's void and something like nothing before you get to something and then have to let it go. But it includes the void as one of the things, I think, which is interesting.
Oh, that's so comforting if I can. And it's really very beautiful. Nothing. I would say these things and not take so long for me to get them. I think thanks to you and our friendship, because we're so different. I'm such a heady person and you're such a real person.
I'm more of a doer person.
Yes. So I've learned, and trying to explain these things to you helps me so much, because if I can explain it to you, then I can communicate with the human race. And I think you do understand these things. I'm so glad for the trauma that you had as a child. We wouldn't have had a chance to be friends. What is he talking about? Nothing. There was someone's trying to call, but if you're interested, we can.
Oh, I see.
We can listen for a moment. Thank you for calling. Maybe they can't hear us. So let's see. Can I do this? Do we want to pick up or not?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Hello, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, Barbara.
Yeah, how do you know it was me?
Because you have the most uniquely beautiful voice I have ever heard, except for Michelle's. thank
had to call you and tell you that your hair and your beard is still beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I had a haircut thanks to Michelle. who
I
ta-
love it.
oh,
I love it.
oh, thank you for
That's
following
nice.
our discussion so profoundly, Barbara. Call again. We have another show in
And
20.
Michelle is pretty.
Oh,
She's-
thank
pretty
you,
girl.
Barbara.
She's a pretty. Yes, she's almost going to be turning 16 soon. And you're a pretty girl yourself, Barbara. Takes one. It takes one to know one. Well, we're gonna get back. Thank you for calling.
Okay, love
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, I love you
Yeah.
too. Thank you. Oh, we're just.
Oh, hang up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're just speaking to the whole United States of America. Barbara is Peoria, Illinois. So,
Cool.
where were we?
Awesome.
Oh, it's so helpful to
Oh.
really take
Oh,
these words in,
nothing. Yeah, so,
to really take them in, but
yeah.
I haven't. It's a hard, talk about protector. So I protected myself with words. I could say hundreds of times to my classes, and they loved it, how beautiful it is to do nothing and rest afterwards. And not really get it. I always had to accomplish. Since I've accomplished so little, I've just worked hard to accomplish so.
Well, and part of the whole internal family systems is also the exile. Like it's protecting the part that you're really trying hard to not get known because it's super vulnerable, right? The exiles.
Yes, so I would have a trick of talking about them,
Mm-hmm.
like feeling nothing without feeling them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a hard,
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe for many of us, there's an old, I think this might be Shakespeare, what a tangled web we weave once we practice to deceive. So I can deceive myself. I have to be careful with everything I say. I should take a breath and really take it in. I'm so used to tossing off these clever. So the exiles are what we're hiding from.
Keeping down in the basement.
Keeping down inside me, and I would hide by speaking of it cleverly.
Mm.
So that must be very tricky. He's talking about it, he mustn't understand. And I didn't really. So that's, what a gift to discover this. I think my friendship with you helped me, because you're so down to earth in your own unique way. So at least as I understand Abraham, I mean his childhood, as I understand it, it begins with, it says, his father conceives him. No mention of his mother. That would totally, after Mother Earth flooded everybody, they just didn't want to, I could understand that too. They didn't want to deal with women. They just vanished them. They didn't see
Right.
them.
But is it also sometimes the story reflective of the times? Like, in some ways, maybe it speaks to how that whole, they really started pushing women away, and the patriarchy was starting to form. So
yeah.
it's kind of interesting. Like I think a feminine quality is like the void, you know.
Oh,
before
wow, so it hides
creation,
from that
and
too.
the,
Wow.
and the male is the actual creation,
Yeah.
tangible.
Oh my.
So it's interesting that they think maybe the story really started, you know, the other way.
With the void.
Yeah. But, you know, I just wonder how much, you know, which is reflecting what
You mean
in the
if,
story.
in other words, we tell the story because we've been doing it?
Yeah, it kind of tells the story in some ways of what happened, so that there's no mention of the woman conceiving, because it's saying how there was this big repression of women.
Yeah.
So it's really a story telling you that happened in some ways.
Yes, that
like
which
reflecting the times or something.
in some ways a gift too, just like on
Mm.
discovering we're uncomfortable and what it means to us. This story is a gift revealing how women were not only oppressed, but disappeared, vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you, story, for revealing the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Gifts in disguise, gifts telling us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one of Abram's brothers, his name was Abram then, they had a half sister named Sarai, who some people think had been brought up in a temple, a temple for goddesses. Because in those good old days, if a man brought a sheep, he used to work with sheep, to the temple, the goddess who was skilled, would give him a divine experience in exchange for the sheep. The good old days. Well, for some people it seems that Abram's father, Terach, conceived a child with one of the goddesses, whose name was Sarai. And he took Sarai home, and she was Abram's half-sister, and beautiful as goddesses could be. And so one of Abram's brothers, his big brother, who was also Sarai's half-sister,
Half-sister?
half-brother, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
yeah.
when he had children, 2 daughters, for the first time in 10 generations, he gave them names. He could see them, respect them, honor them. He called them Yishka, which means sea, and Milka, which means queen. See the queen? The father, Terach, did not like that. I imagined a scene where he told his son, "We do not give women names. It's too frightening." And the son, Haran, said, "I want to honor Milka and Yishka, queen and sea." And Terach, as patriarchs do, just hit him. Stop your talk with an idol. You know, he was an idol maker. People could feel gods in what, you know, they would really feel a spirit when they saw these big idols made out of wood or stone. And Terach took one of them and said, "Don't give women names." And it's written in the Bible that Haran dies before the face of his father. And, if you're into marriage, immediately Abram has to marry his half-sister. He has to marry his half-sister, Sarai. And his other brother, Nahor, also marries someone in the family. Keep the secret in the family. So that was a hard
Keep what secret?
secret that the father had killed the brother.
Oh, okay.
And that was a hard marriage. You're married to your goddess-like half-sister. And it says in the Bible that she was barren. She had no children. You can guess why. They're probably, it's hard to make love, period, let alone to your half-sister, who's a goddess. So that's and you and I can identify, that's the traumatic family Abram is brought up in. And then it says in the Bible that the father dies.